The term author embraces the thought that the director, who oversees all elements of the film, is to be considered more of the author of the movie than is the screenplay writer. That is, the movie making techniques such as lighting, scene select, camera placements, narrative convey the message clearly than the plot line on its own. Originally used to differentiate global film directors from those in Hollywood, Andrew Sarris created the term author theory in 1962 through his essay Notes on the Author Theory. Sarris defined an author by having three fundamental characteristics. They must have technical competence of the director as criterion of value, a distinguishable personality, and an interior meaning towards the film. Christopher Nolan is a prime example of an author deserving of the title, from his creation of mind-bending and timeless pictures. One of the unique aspects that makes Nolan an author is from the way he tells his stories, having a non-linear fashion. From the complex Inception to The Dark Knight, Christopher often used techniques such as flashbacks or opening a scene that is no chronological order. This appears in The Dark Knight, where Nolan used flashbacks to Bruce Wayne's childhood. This non-linear technique of Nolan not only highlights the themes of truth and identity, but also helps to place the audience into the shoes of the protagonist. Narrative and contrast are used to connect the three leading characters in The Dark Knight. Combining flashbacks with present day, seen in the opening act, Nolan plays with the use of time and how memories create identity. Nolan's strong lighting choices are distinguishable through all his films, from his blank urban settings, black and white scenes, and use of dark lighting. Nolan used contrast of light and dark through his films to display characters' emotions and growth or decay within the text, which allows the audience to see deeper meaning and themes. Having skillful lighting allows Nolan to adjust and manipulate impressions that are conveyed on the screen. In The Dark Knight, the city of Gotham is instantly recognizable through its dark, gloomy cityscape. The constant use of chiaroscuro lighting sets the mood of the Batman universe to be tense and oppressive. Nolan's choice of lighting in The Dark Knight shows the true nature of the characters. One that is very distinguishable is the dark and harsh lighting on the Joker and the move of the other criminals. From this light, it creates a dim and menacing mood. Visually, Nolan often includes a twisting turning shot in his films called the barrel roll camera technique. Nolan employs this technique at key moments in the film, pushing the audience to sympathize with the protagonist while their world is turning on its head. In The Dark Knight, the ending sequence of the film shows the Joker in near reach of convincing Batman on his worldviews. Batman has finally captured the Joker and has left him hanging upside down. Telling a bombardment of ideas, the Joker tries to convince Batman to break his one rule and kill him. Starting to consider the idea, Nolan enforces his technique and the camera rolls to its side, achieving distortion as the Joker now appears the correct side up and it turns the world behind him is upside down, leaving the audience to question reality.
You just couldn't let me go, could you? This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. You truly are incorruptible, aren't you? Huh? You won't kill me out of some misplaced sense of self-righteousness. And I won't kill you because you're just too much fun. I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
You'll be in a better jail forever.
Maybe we could share one. You know, they'll be doubling up the rate this city's inhabitants are losing their minds.
This city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good.
Until their spirit breaks completely until they get a good look at the real Harvey Dent. Huh? And all the heroic things he's done. You didn't think I'd risk losing the battle for Gotham's soul in a fistfight with you. Oh, you need an ace in the hole. Mine's Harvey.
What did you do?
I took Gotham's White Knight, and I brought him down to our level. It wasn't hard. See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
Nolan likes to work with the same actors and crew, showing his personal and creative preference for his entourage. You will notice through all his film's career, Nolan has worked repeatedly with many outstanding actors such as Michael Caine, seen in The Dark Knight and Interstellar, Cillian Murphy starring in The Dark Knight and in Inception, Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight and Interstellar, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt starring in The Dark Knight and Inception. Looking at all these elements that make an author, whether it's cinematography, thematics, or personal directive, I think it is safe to say that Christopher Nolan has distinguished himself as one and perfectly embodies Andrew Sarri's criteria. Nolan has proved himself to be interested in both entertaining the audience and making them think by pushing the boundaries with often complicated ideas and risks he takes with his filmmaking. Nolan has a strong use of visual style, from creating lighting which sets the mood and tone, as well as contrasting between light and dark to display characters' emotions within the text. His creative camera movements help us to establish his films. Nolan always finds innovative ways to tell a story that is visceral and intellectual all at once, and after viewing his unique signatures, we can say to ourselves, yes, this is definitely a Christopher Nolan film.